Hey guys, my name is Ryan and welcome to HitScan. Today I wanted to show you guys the big impact that these PTR changes have done to the game and the heroes that are considered meta. We'll be looking at the pick rates across all of the tiers, but I have devised a system in order to rank the heroes based off popularity and to show the swings of how quickly some of them have climbed or how quickly they have fallen. I created a bit of a ranking system across all of the different characters, measuring their popularity before and what it is now. I can go over how I came over this system, I just kind of want to get straight into the video. It's not perfect, but I'll talk about that at the end of this video. All of the stats that we're going to have on screen though are stats across all of the tiers. It's not just GM on its own, but I really wanted to highlight the top 4 heroes in these rankings, which were Baptiste, Arisa, Sigma and Hanzo. All of these heroes are the most popular in GM and certainly some of the bigger problems in the meta that we had previously. How do we know that? Well, Blizzard specifically targeted all 4 of these heroes with some pretty hefty nerfs, and they all fall down quite a lot when it comes to popularity. I did want to preface as well in this video, all of these heroes are still playable. I am not saying in this video at all that you should not play X hero. All of them are still playable, especially in competitive, unless you're like trying to play in the 1% or go towards open division. So play what you want. I just found this stuff really interesting, and the more you know about what's going on around you, the better you can play. That's how I see it. But Baptiste, Arisa, Sigma, if you love playing those heroes, you still can. Baptiste, though, was the most popular hero in the rankings, and he's fallen 9 places to 10th. It's fairly easy to see exactly what has happened when you look at the pick rate across all of the tiers over the past 6 months. Roll Q came in about 6 months ago, and you can see that he was doing okay, but as soon as those buffs came in that increased his fire rate, reduced his spread, and then all of the breaking barrier patch stuff that reduced shields, you can see how popular he got, and he started off 2020 pretty well. But he was hit with 2 sets of nerfs, and you can see exactly the impact that they have had. Now he's back to where he used to be, so he's not trashed here by any stretch, but he's not the top flex support that people should be playing at the moment. You can 100% still play him, that's what I've been doing, and he's better now than he used to be 6 to 8 months ago, but he's certainly not the best hero at the moment, and those targeted nerfs really did a lot of bringing Baptiste down a peg, but still made him very strong and very fun to still play. They just made it a little bit tougher to get the same effective value, which I think is the best way to go about it. Arisa is a very similar case. She was in 2nd place and has now dropped to 14th, so it's a pretty hefty fall. When Roll Q came into the game, you could see how consistent Arisa was with her pick rate. The breaking barriers patch, which reduced the effectiveness of shields as a whole across her, Reinhardt and other characters, you could see that it made a drop off, but she was still considered the best main tank in the game. Soon as the recent nerfs hit her though, you could see how it started to all fall apart. I think when it came to these nerfs, they went about it in the right way. Instead of reducing one core aspect of Arisa, there were small nerfs to everything in her kit. Her fortify, her halt, her damage, everything apart from her shield, which was already hit with the breaking barriers patch of course. So she was a little bit worse in every single way, but she's still certainly playable, and I still see her myself in competitive games. But this is the least popular she has been ever since Roll Q has been added into the game. Definitely worth bearing in mind. Get this idea out that she's still the best. She isn't, but she's still not terrible. Another one that's taken a big fall, as I mentioned, is Sigma, that's fallen 13 places from 3rd to 16th. These rankings don't really matter, but you see the huge swing in how unpopular Sigma is in comparison to before. Sigma came out broken. To be honest, when he was added, July time last year, you can see how strong he was to begin with, got nerfed, fell a bit, went up a bit, got nerfed again with a breaking barriers patch, fell, went up, and is now fallen again considerably. To be fair, the nerfs that hit him recently when it came to his ultimate being interrupted, and a couple other bits and pieces, that's not the reason why he fell so much, it's just because Arisa fell a lot recently too. So I feel a bit sorry for Sigma. And I've kind of gone back on my word saying that he should have been nerfed, and I'm pretty sure a lot of pros that had the same opinion will continue to do so now. The ground fell out from underneath him, and he really didn't assess the gravity of the situation. Hanzo also was nerfed in a pretty dramatic way. A lot of people considered those nerfs to pretty much kill the character, but when you look at his pick rate across the board, it's not really happened. He was the 4th most popular and he's fallen down 5 places, but if you look at the pick rate, you can see that he's just on a downward slope at the moment. It could continue to drop off, but he's not in a jeopardized position. He's still considered a very good hero, and he definitely is. So there's a little bit of hyperbole being thrown out at the moment, but he's worse now than he was before, but just not by a dramatic amount. I understand why people may not like the changes because it affects how Hanzo feels, but it's certainly not doomsday for the character. Another hero that's fallen quite dramatically is Zenyatta. Now don't panic, the more dramatic falls are in the higher tiers, so if you do play him and you're just playing him in competitive, don't worry, you're not soft throwing if you decide to pick him. But I did want to show how dramatic his fall off is in GM. Like I said, they're very fickle. He was the 7th most popular hero, now he's 20th. And that's just because this whole meta of Baptiste, Zen, Hanzo breaking barriers is no longer really a thing. So Zenyatta was disposed of, thrown in the trash can, and he might get recycled into something else at that point. But his pick rate plummeted because he just no longer was meta. Across all of the tiers though, it's healthy. It's a drop off, but nothing too dramatic or concerning if you do decide to play him. Just wanted to highlight it because I thought it was interesting. But now we go over the heroes that have gone up in popularity, and it's fair to say that this is the time to be playing Reinhardt. Now a lot of people, when playing competitive, will say Reinhardt's always been around, Reinhardt's always been the most optimal pick. And yeah, you'd be right. Reinhardt isn't back in a big fashion, but he has become the most popular hero in the game, not only in competitive, but also the higher ranks and no doubt in the Overwatch League when it starts this week. Arisa's dropped off, which means that it's perfect for Reinhardt to come back into the game. The Breaking Barriers patch in December did more for Reinhardt, but the slow climb up, even though Reinhardt didn't receive any changes, is showing exactly how popular he now is and where the meta is going to go. Because when Reinhardt goes up in popularity, a lot of heroes tend to follow. So Reinhardt is now the best main tank to be running, so if you love playing him, have fun. Great opportunity to be using him. The off-tank role is quite interesting when you look at it. I want to highlight D.Va, as D.Va was buffed recently with 3-second boosters. She can fly around like crazy now. She went from 17th place to 4th, going up 13 places in total in these rankings. It really does show, even though these changes were fairly small and maybe overlooked, how much of an impact it's made. In GM, she is the off-tank hero that you should definitely be playing, but that's only really in the higher tiers. When you're looking across all of the rankings, it's certainly Zarya. Zarya's ranking was 22nd before and now it's gone up to 11th, which is fairly easy to say because Reinhardt is more popular. With more Reinhardt, there's more Zarya. But similar to Reinhardt, Breaking Barriers patch in December helped out Zarya quite a lot, and then with Sigma and Arisa falling off, it's given more room for Zarya to be played. If you are an off-tank player that wants to play what's deemed meta, could be D.Va, it could be Zarya. You can really mix it up depending on the situation that you're in. So have a lot of fun with that. If you've been stuck in Sigma jail and want something else to play, both of these heroes are perfectly great to be running right now. So have fun, because both of them are amazing fun to play. In regards to supports, I did want to highlight Lucio. Lucio wasn't buffed at all, but he went from 8th place to 2nd. Much similar to Reinhardt, he benefits off playing alongside him. It's more dramatic in the higher tiers than it is across the board for Lucio, so again, don't worry if you don't like playing Lucio, it doesn't really matter too much. But it does show how much of a swing that we've had going away from this slow, breaking shields, getting a pick playstyle, to something that's looking a bit more brawly. But maybe not quite, because Ana has gone from 9th place to 3rd in these rankings too. This is the most popular that she has ever been in the last few months. It's not a sudden change, but she's definitely on the up. It's similar to Zarya's correlation with Sigma nerf, but that's probably because Baptiste has been played a lot less, means that Ana has played a little bit more. But for competitive, it's personal preference and whatever you're best at, to be honest. Now this next hero I did not see coming. Brigitta is on the up. She has risen across all of the tiers, but weirdly enough, she is the most popular in GM. She has a 5% pick rate in GM, meaning that she is the 5th most popular hero across the board out of everyone, with Ana and Lucio being played more for the support role. Brigitta could be scary. It's something definitely to consider look into a bit more, but considering that GM players have played Brigitta more, and she's not just this minuscule, small group of players doing it, I think is really interesting and certainly worth picking up on another time. This could be because Brawly comps are coming back, Reinhardt's back in the game, her healing output often gets completely overlooked, and if Lucio's back up in popularity, Brigitta alongside might be a cool composition for people to run. It's really hard to say, it does deserve looking into a little bit more, but Brigitta is the 5th most popular hero at the moment. Very interesting. The other heroes I wanted to highlight very quickly was McCree. He's slightly on the up in regards to pick rate. He was in 12th place and now he's in 8th. So nothing dramatic. The buff hasn't done too much for him, but that's what you'd expect. He has played a little bit more in GM than across the board. Not enough to really be surprising or interesting. Who knows if the fickle changes that were on the PTR that didn't make it through to the live game, whether that would make any difference or not, I guess we'll never know, but yeah, if you like playing McCree, go for it. And these 3 heroes were all nerfs, but we haven't seen a considerable difference in popularity or anything really. Mei, Reaper and Doomfist were all nerfed, but not enough to really see anything happen in regards to popularity across the board. They're all a little bit worse, but nothing too drastic, certainly not in comparison to the heroes that we highlighted. Everybody else has stayed roughly the same. There are a couple of indirect changes, but I pretty much highlighted the main ones in regards to what's going on with the meta at the moment. But thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video. In regards to how I made these rankings, I effectively looked at GM and sort of looked at the rankings of the most popular heroes across the month. I then compared it to this week to see dramatically how far people fell off the radar or not. Now, like I said, this system isn't perfect. It's certainly nothing that I've given too much thought about in regards to the actual pick rates of these characters. But when Baptiste is the most popular hero across the month, and then this week he's fallen to 10th place, it's a pretty good way to see exactly how much he's dropped off. It's the same with Arisa and Sigma. We're not really looking at GM pick rates here because, like I said, we really shouldn't be focusing on it too much. I've certainly changed my perspective on that. But GM players are incredibly fickle. If Arisa is no longer the best main tank to be running, they will not play her. And that's pretty much what's happened. Less Arisa, more Reinhardt, less Sigma, more Zarya/Diva, less Baptiste, more Lucio, more Ana, more Brigitta, weirdly enough. But like I said, if you don't agree with this system, let me know in the comments below. I'm certainly open to criticism on that front. But I think it's a good way to show exactly how much the game has changed in such a short period of time. Thanks for watching, take care, we'll see you then.